So my name is Yenisbel Hernandez. I'm with a group called ABA Exam Academy Study Group. And today we're going to cover the 4th edition task list F. We're going to go a little bit we're going to discuss it a little bit, and then we're going to do mock questions. This is the disclaimer. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, so the disclaimer that we usually read is the ABA Exam Academy Study Group was created by and for students to earn their BCBA, BCABA certification. Most of the leaders and participants are not BCBA, BCABA at this time. These meetings are meant to have active discussions, to collaborate, ask questions, and provide helpful suggestions to better understand the BACB 4th edition task list concepts. Due to this, it is important to know that all viewers and participants are responsible to verify the accuracy of the information being provided in order to successfully prepare for the BCBA, BCABA exam. Basically, guys, double check everything we say. And one of the main purposes that we created the group was for everybody to participate as much as they can, even if you just say B or C or D and you don't elaborate, or you use the chat, because the more you participate, the more you learn. Ethical considerations. Refrain from sharing any BCBA, BCABA test questions during this meeting. Nothing specific about the test. Refrain from sharing any paid resources or specific identifiable client information during the meeting. And if we're sharing any open resources, peer review articles or books, please make sure to provide proper credit to the authors, which we do here. And our rules that makes the Zoom go smooth is make sure you mic your microphone when you're not speaking. This will allow for a better and clear understanding of conversation. Remember, guys, we're recording, so turn off your cameras if you don't wish to be recorded. Allow the leaders and all participants to speak without interruption, and make sure to be respectful to others and refrain from using any inappropriate language throughout the entire meeting. And we're going to do our best to have fun. It's late at night, and most of you are tired, and me too. So we're going to have fun participating. Or at least we're going to participate a lot. I used Cooper, I used Mayer, and I used Miltenberger today. This is my favorite book, by the way, Miltenberger. It says everything very easy to understand language. So here's the first question. Which of the following is not a type of self-management strategy? A, set goals. B, behavior contracting. C, evaluate change. Or D, social support. Talk about yourself amongst yourself. I'm gonna go answer my door.
I'll say B.
I say B.
I say B.
Because when you think about self-management, you want to set a goal, you want to evaluate the change, and you want to also, if you have to use other people to support you,
where did this that was mine?
Okay, guys, so I heard B. Did anybody else said something else? Okay, according to Miltenberger, it's evaluate change.
What?
Yeah, it's tricky. Here's the thing. Here's why it is. Which of the following is not a type of self-management strategy? Evaluate change is one of the steps in a self-management plan. And behavior contracting in Miltenberger, it has it as one of the self-management strategies. It also has other ones. And don't stress too much about it if you got it wrong, because that's why I specified that it's Miltenberger. You know, sometimes each resources gives you a little bit of different information and they word it differently. All I want us to know is the main ones. And remember that it is a strategy, or at least something that we use for self-management. Okay, so here it is. This is what he has. This is for task list F, part F01, use self-management strategies. One of them is set goals, antecedent manipulation, behavior contracting, arranging reinforcers and punishers, social support, and self-instruction and self-praise. I believe it says self. Who wants to talk about set goals? And when we talk about it, if you don't mind, let's talk about it on the let's use the behavior as studying for the test, to pass the test, okay? So who wants to talk a little bit about set goals?
I will.
Go ahead.
So if we're talking about setting goals, so let's say you want to study for the exam. So you probably want to plan out for the week. Okay, so how many hours you want to study for the week, or how many chapters you would like to cover. So you kind of pretty much stick to that by planning out, by having a goal of what you want to get accomplished for the week.
Perfect, Matt. I like it the way you just said it, because you covered two parts: the criterion level, right, to achieve the target behavior, which was a chapter, right, and the time frame, because you said week, right?
Yes.
So, and the other one that is very important for the sake of us knowing the test is that they need to be achievable. Obviously, if you're going to have a full-time job, you know, you need to set those goals in a way that you can actually achieve them and don't go crazy. Another one is antecedent manipulation. I love this one. I use this one a lot when I was studying. Who wants to talk about it?
I will try.
Thank you for
basically what you're doing is rearranging the environment where so okay, like if you want to drink more water, and what you can do is, and you know you're going outside, you could put maybe a gallon of water by the door. People don't usually do that, so that's you manipulating the environment by putting the water in front of the door. So right when you're going outside, it reminds you, oh, I need to drink water, so let me take this with me. Like changing things that will remind you of what you need to do.
Exactly. That's perfect, because that would influence, that water right there would influence the future occurrence of the behavior of you drinking the water, especially at the door. You have to bump with it. So behavior contracting, and this one is the one that we were talking about before. What is it? Is there a verbal goal or rule or statement, or is it written? I'm making it easy on you guys.
It's written.
Okay, you got it right. So this one is tricky. So it has a lot of things to consider. I would think for the test, just remember, behavior contracting has to be written. So another thing to consider is you identify and define the behavior to be changed. So basically, in the case of study, what is the behavior? I just said it, sorry. Studying. And then you need to operationally define it. And then you need to establish a method for data collection, which would be, I don't know, you want to collect how many hours you study per week, right? Define the criterion level of target behavior to achieve in the time frame of the contract, and arrange the contingencies and the person to implement the contingencies to influence the target behavior. Who wants to explain a little bit what I read? Doesn't have to be perfect.
I will, about behavior contracting. So it is the written part of the document that you're held accountable to, and it mentions the criterion level that you have to do. So you're gonna study for an hour a night. That's written into the document that you must sign. You must study for an hour a night. And it's a way to help. It's a way to establish a method for the data collection too.
Exactly. So that I have a question. So behavior contracting, who do you need somebody, or can you do it by yourself?
You can do it by yourself.
You can do it by yourself, but you can also have somebody, right? Because it
Yes.
says you can also have somebody to help you make sure that you follow through with what you say.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for participating. So another one is arranging reinforcers and punishments. No need to write them down into a contract. This one, I just wrote it exactly what the book said, which is, it could be one of those things that they use in the test to trick you. Arrange for reinforcers and punishment to be implemented by yourself or another person. Example, I will eat ice cream after I study 3 hours. So as you can see, it's very similar to behavior contracting. It's just behavior contracting is more official, it's written down. This one, it's not. Social support. Who wants to go over social support? It says that you arrange for social support to influence the target behavior. The other person provides the cues for the occurrence of the target behavior. And I think the key word here would be you arrange it. It's not just, random. It's like you arrange it. For example, I asked my daughter to, every time she would see me watching TV, that for her to say, Mom, remember you gotta study. It sort of worked for a while, but then it didn't. She would forget. But that's one of those things that you can use. Self-instruction and self-praise. This one I found it very interesting. If I see it in a test, I would think that it might not belong there. So what is self-instructions, guys?
It's pretty much you talking to yourself. So I know when I took the exam, I was just like getting a little tired. And I was telling myself, self-instruction could be covert or overt. So I was obviously covertly telling myself, you can do this. You are, 80 questions, you are under 2 hours. Let's try to tackle 30 more questions, see if we can get, so pretty much just like me telling myself. And then obviously, self-praise, it's like you telling yourself, good job. You get it done. Nicely done.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Maud, for participating. So guys, the only thing that I could see here that in the test is like, remember, self-instruction is when you tell yourself what to do and how to do it. Self-praise is when you're saying something, when you're provide yourself with positive evaluation of your own behavior. So basically what Maud said, good job. Is that self-praise or self-instruction? That's obviously
self-praise.
Praise.
Self-praise.
Okay. I'm gonna go really quickly over this just for you to have an idea. Steps in a self-management plan. The other one that we went over last, this is the strategies. Here is for a plan for you to write down the plan and go over it. Step one would be take the decision to engage in self-management. Actually, say, okay, I'm gonna do it. Define the target behavior and competing behavior. I'm just gonna ask you a quick question. What is competing behavior?
Behaviors that's competing with your target behavior?
Exactly. So if you want to study, what could be competing behavior for you?
Watching TV.
Yeah, that was mine. I hope it's not yours, because that one's hard to control. Because you can watch TV anywhere nowadays, right? So set goals. Make it public. I like that little part about it. Make it public so everybody can know about it. That's why groups like this help us out, because we can help each other be accountable with what we do. Like, did you study, Maud? Did you do this, Maud? Did you do that? So
I literally never heard of Make It Public until I was looking at Cooper last night, because this area seemed to be like getting me confused when I get to self-management, self-monitoring. I don't know why I keep getting confused. And then I was like, Make It Public. Okay.
Make it public. Tell people in Facebook so they can see, hey, so when did you take the test? When are you taking the test? Did you study that chapter you were going to study? That's why it works. So another key thing about goals, make them long-term goals and short-term goals, guys. So we can manage it. Just like we do with our kids, we go up slowly. You're not supposed to start studying 20 hours a week. Just, when you start studying, you need to go slowly up. Self-monitoring, we know that one, right? Collect data on what we do, the scores in the mocks, the hours, etc. Conduct a functional assessment. What do they mean by that one?
To find the function of your behavior?
Exactly.
I never heard of that for self-management.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I wrote them down, because it seems so easy, but then it's not, because you need to remember these things. So conduct a functional assessment would be basically what we already know. So we need to find the function, like we need to see the ABCs. I remember I studied this before I started to actually study for the test, and it helped me out a lot, because I would write next to it the things that I knew already about my behaviors. So, for example, afterwards, I realized that while I was studying in my house, so the antecedent would be studying in the house, the behavior would be studying, and then the consequence would be that I would get really distracted and super sleepy. I would just knock out sleep. But in the other hand, when I would study at Starbucks, I would be able to study and focus and learn the information much better, much faster. So I changed my studying behavior, and I didn't study in my house. What I did in my house is completely different. I didn't actually grab the books. So choose appropriate self-management strategies. Basically, here's where you select the strategies that we talked in the previous slide. Evaluate change. That one we know. We need to continue taking that on the target behavior and evaluate it. Are the scores increasing? What are we doing? What do we need to change? Reevaluate self-management strategies if necessary. That's basically the same thing, just, analyze it again. And implement maintenance. This thing gets on the paper and I cannot see. Implement maintenance strategy. That one, the way I would use it for the purpose of studying is after taking the test, continue to study until you get the results. So that way you can keep the momentum. Okay, guys. We're going to questions, your favorite part. Okay, Minerva, hi Minerva, is developing a behavior contract. Who implements the contract contingency in Minerva's behavior contract? Minerva and her supervisor, Minerva and the contract manager, only Minerva's supervisor, or only Minerva's contract manager? I want participation here, guys. We already went over this. I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
B.
B. I have two for B.
A.
One for A.
I'm between A and B. I can't choose.
I say B.
B. Okay.
No,
B. Let's ask Maud, is the supervisor always the contract manager?
No.
No. Can my daughter be my contract manager?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes. So the answer would be B. So it's basically anybody who's gonna help you stay accountable to your goals. So the keywords here would be behavior contract, which we need to recognize what it is, and the contract contingency. Who's gonna help you implement the contract contingencies? Okay. Fluency time. I forgot the question that I wrote here. So behavior contracting, if one of the strategies for, think about it, and when I press it, I want you to everybody say at the same time, because we're supposed to know it already. Behavior contracting is one of the strategies for what?
Self-management.
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 Nice. I like that participation. Nice job, guys. You want a sticker? Here you go. Thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Put it in your forehead. All of the following are steps for a token economy, except, okay, this one might be tricky. Select the token, identify target behaviors and rules, field test the children's target behavior, choose backup reinforcers, or field test the token system. Take your time.
C.
C.
Target.
I'm like field test the
C.
children target behavior.
C.
C.
Oh, I had it more difficult and I changed it to it. Okay. So all except, that's the key thing that we need to look up, and obviously token economy. And the rest of the steps are, we need to set up exchange rates, we need to develop procedures when token requirements are not met. Anybody else wants to talk a little bit more about it, or are we good?
Make sure you have in the token economy, make sure the backup, you have a lot of backup reinforcers, so they can have like a variety of reinforcement that's available. And that's it.
The backup reinforcers. That's good. That's a good tip.
Make sure you don't run into bankruptcy.
do a lot of those like free homework for a day, mom's hugs, one of those free ones. Okay, guys, thank you. Okay, let's go to the next one. What's going on here? There you go. Did I skip? Okay. Apparently I repeated it. FCT should always be utilized in a treatment package. True or false?
True.
True.
We have one false and one true. Is that what I heard?
No, we have
True as well.
all true.
Because you want to utilize FCT as much as possible.
Good. Okay, what is FCT?
Functional
communication training.
My God, guys, you're awesome. FCT stands for Functional Communication Training, and we need to do it all the time.
We all responded in call, and that's direct instruction.
Ooh, there you go. She's chasing that sticker, star sticker. Okay, this one's a little bit longer, guys. After Nadia collected and analyzed the baseline data, Nadia is starting the implementation of an FCT, of a FCT today. She is giving M&Ms as a reinforcer for her client. When her client says M&M instead of screaming while grabbing the M&M bag, Nadia will give her client an M&M in an FR2 reinforcement schedule. Which of the following statements is true? A, Nadia is implementing FCT correctly. Nadia should start with a different reinforcement schedule. Nadia should not give M&M as a reinforcer, or Nadia should collect more baseline data before implementing the FCT.
A.
B.
B.
I have 3 B and 1 A. B. Anybody?
I'm trying to read the question again.
It's lengthy.
Yeah, it's lengthy, I know.
I want to say B.
So most of you want to say B. Who wants to defend B? Who wants
I'll defend. I will. I feel that if you're just beginning, just starting to implement some type of system, you should be contacting reinforcement continuously, not just
on a CRF.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. You're on a roll. Yes. It should not be FR2, right?
CRF or FR1, AKAs.
There you go. Oh my God.
Mod, you got it.
There you go. You guys are showing off. You're like, yes, I know this stuff. Okay, so
we're trying to study.
So for those of you, those of us who are still getting it, what we said was that when we're studying, we always use FR1 or the AKA, which is continuous reinforcement schedule, CRF. Breathe, breathe, practice, 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 and you will get it. And soon you will be here, I think.
Oh, I love that picture.
Isn't it relaxing? I think I want to be there.
That's
I'm going to the Cayman Island in August.
backyard. That's your backyard.
It does. That's what I'm trying to imitate. My fence, I painted it blue, and I bought a hammock. Okay, guys. So FCT is an application of DRO, DRA, DRH, DRD.
DRA.
B.
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 My God, guys, you're so fast. Your fluency is awesome. So FTT stands for Functional Communication Training, and these are all the names for them. I put this in case anybody had needed help. So who wants to explain why is it differential reinforcement of alternative behavior? So for those of us who need it.
I think I can do that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so basically we try to teach functional communication so we can reinforce appropriate communication for the kids' needs and wants. So we usually use it for, like, for example, for picture exchange communication. A kid will usually, like, maybe drag you to what they want, or maybe will aggress or do anything. So instead of using those type of methods, we teach functional communication training so that way they could contact reinforcement with the alternative.
Perfect. And I think the key thing there you said that differentiates DRA from is that it's that you said instead, right? So he's going to communicate either by verbal communication, or you're going to either exchange or do signs or anything like you said, instead of doing the inappropriate behavior like screaming or crying or anything like that. Thank you so much. I think that was perfect. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We have 6 minutes. We're gonna, if you guys see the timer and you see like 1 minute, let me know, okay? Demi is implementing a FCT. She's going to thin her client's reinforcement schedule. Which of the following statements about the above scenario are true? Oh, this one's long, guys. So initially, FCT target response must be reinforced on an FR3 reinforcement schedule. A recovery of the challenging behavior could occur in FCT. Demi needs to teach the target response before she thinks the reinforcement schedule. Or Demi's client doesn't need to master the target response before she thinks the reinforcement schedule. Which one do you think is true? Take your time because it's long.
I think it's C.
I think C as well.
C also. I feel like it's the best response. I don't know if I'm necessarily thinking it's the only one.
Yeah.
What? Somebody said B also?
No, C makes sense.
C makes sense? Okay. Actually, it's B. I'll tell you why C is tricky one. I'm gonna only tell you that the word that they use is not teach. It's something else. It's master.
Okay.
So Demi needs to Demi's client. That's why I left this by mistake there. Demi's client needs to master the target response before she thinks the reinforcement schedule.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You're halfway there, but it's one of those things that.
Wow, one word.
Huh?
I said one word.
I know. It's one of those things that in the test, it tricks you. Because you can teach it, but doesn't mean that the child master it.
Right. you don't want to thin it out unless they master the skill. Makes sense.
Yes. So the key thing that they need to say for you to go to the next schedule reinforcement is that the child needs to master that one, the skill. Needs to master the target response before she thinks out the reinforcement schedule. Does it make any sense? Does it make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
So the answer is B, a recovery of the child.
Because this one is also true. This one is true. A recovery of the challenging behavior could occur in FCT. So basically, the challenging behavior could come back. That's what it means, right?
Yeah. Okay.
The rest, I just put it there to sort of trick you. And A would be correct if it was like, let's see what it says.
If it was
It would
FR1.
be FR1, or what you already said, CRF, which is continuous reinforcement schedule. Okay. Fluency time. CRF stands for ready, set, go.
Continuous reinforcement.
I love the madness. I am a child. I love the madness of everybody talking at the same time. Continuous reinforcement schedule. Nice job, guys. Okay. The effectiveness of tokens as reinforcers depend upon the power of the, somebody already said it a while back, generalized condition reinforcers, generalized reinforcers, backup reinforcers, or generalized backup reinforcement.
Backup reinforcers.
C.
See, you guys were not tricked. Backup reinforcers. What are backup reinforcers? Explain to us.
I mean, it could be anything you choose it to be. It could be as little as a sticker or edibles. It could be an iPad.
Yes.
Anything.
So basically
is what you exchange.
what you
I'm
turn
sorry.
into tokens for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like everybody, what you guys said was correct. It could be an item or activity that you can exchange the reinforcer for. But
by the way, you have less than 1 minute.
Yes, I have less than 1 minute. I'm gonna post the new link, and I think before we go, the key thing is that the backup reinforcer needs to actually be reinforcing for the person.
All right.
Okay, let's turn it off, and we're gonna join us if you want.
It's gonna be a new link or the same link?
The new link. It's
Okay.
gonna be a new link. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
You're gonna post it on WhatsApp?
I'm gonna post them in both today because I forgot.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.